Pow! Yes. Back again. Back a block dog again, fam. You understand? I'm joking. Nah, I'm sure he's trademarked that. Bukayo Saka has signed a 4-year contract extension. I'm sure every Arsenal fan will be over the moon with that news. I certainly am. I mean, he's a young man that's done really well for the last 3-4 years, exceptionally well. I mean, it's funny though, because not a lot of people know I used to work at the training ground or whatnot. And I remember first coming across his name on the under 18 section. Anyone that knows the training ground knows that the under 18 section is like, so basically the training ground consists of the ladies team, the men's first team, and the under 18s. So obviously when I was in the under 18s changing room, I used to see certain names on the board as if like it was a tactics board. And I just remember seeing Bukayo Saka. But that was before he came into the first team. It must have been about 2018 when Emery was there. And I thought nothing of it. Roll on probably 6 months later. Man's in the first team and everything, making his debut. You know, each week he's performing. Before you know it, he's a first team starter at the age of 17, I think he was at the time. And props to him. He has literally just gone on from strength to strength to the extent now he's one of the best footballers in the world. You know, it's crazy to see how he's kept on improving year on year, season on season, week on week. Arsenal fans' favourite, the face of the club. Many people call him the star boy. I say many people. I'm one of them. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of them people. He's got phenomenal talent. I mean, he just literally just keeps on knocking every single challenge out of the park. He is a great guy. Everyone says he's a great guy. But the thing is, everyone saying you're a great guy doesn't mean you ain't a great player, you know? Because you can be both, and he's clearly an example of that. I'm chuffed that the club has put their faith in him for another 4 years. I'm hearing it's in the region of 200 to 300,000 pounds a week. Well earned, and I'll tell you why. Some people might think that it's probably a bit too much, but my perspective is he's been underpaid for the last 2 or 3 years. So you get me? When you're performing like that, week on week, carrying the club on your back, you know, you deserve it. We've had players such as Ozil or Aubameyang, to a lesser extent Thomas Partey, on huge wages over the last few years, while this boy has been on, don't know to be exact, but I think it's in the region of 50,000 a week. I mean, so he's earned it. He's earned the pay rise, and I'm sure it's a good decision to kind of show the Hayland next batch of Hayland academy players. You know, Wanyeri, Kozia Dewberry, Raw Waters, and, you know, the next batch that this, you know, hard work, dedication, being a good guy, you know what I'm saying, listening to the coaches, you know what I'm saying, the sky's the limit. And the thing is, this player is going to keep improving. I have no doubt about that. This season has been on his best yet. He's literally, some people say he's world class. I thought that myself, but I feel like he's kind of bordering on world class status, and it's a good gauge of his true ability now that we're in the Champions League. So I'm sure we're gonna be in a really tricky group come September. One that I do believe we will emerge from. No matter who's in our group, I'll be confident that we can surely emerge from any group, whether it's first or second. But yeah, we'll probably have one or two top sides in our group, so it will be a good opportunity for him to pit his wits against top fullbacks. And obviously, if he's against top fullbacks, he's probably going to be up against like a top team. So, for example, we might get a Dortmund in our group, who are probably going to win the Bundesliga this weekend. So it'll be good. Let's say we do come up against a Dortmund. It'll be a good. Put it this way: I doubt Dortmund will be doubling up on him like the vast majority of Premier League sides have been, especially towards the end of this season, which has made it harder for him. So I feel like that's one of the reasons why his form has tailed off to an extent towards the end of the season. I feel like there's a few reasons. One being he's probably tired. The pressure, the whole team, his confidence, the fact that they're doubling up on him. There's several reasons why I feel his form has dropped a little bit. Not to mention he's only human and he's only a young 21-year-old player, going to be 22 in, is it September? I believe it's September. So, yeah, it's good that we did give him that 4-year extension. I'm a bit annoyed that's not 5, but this is one deal that I believe was done quite a while ago. It was just a matter of time before it was announced. So obviously the club have decided to announce it now, just prior to the last game of the season against Wolves. So it will uplift the fans. I'm sure it's uplifted me a bit. I was a bit down after the last few weeks 6 weeks, I'd say. Results have tailed off dramatically, but hopefully we can round off the season with a win against Wolves on Sunday, and then just look forward to the future next season. We finish second, and get some signings in, get them bedded in for pre-season, and hope. Oh yeah, obviously William Saliba's the next one. So obviously we've tied up quite a few of our young talent in the last few months, I'd say. So obviously Gabriel Martinelli has signed. Aaron Ramsdale signed a week ago or so. We also signed Gabriel, I think, last year. Who else? There was another one. So obviously Saka's now signed. So obviously a lot of our young talent are now on long-term deals, which is good because we're now protecting our assets. We now have a number of assets, unlike before. So that's the main thing. So the club's looking in good stead, going forward. I just feel it's really very good. It sends out a good message to the fans and to everyone else that this kid is our flagship player. He's the face of the club. He has good energy. He's a good attitude. He represents the club in a good light. He's come from the academy. And most importantly, he is a top player. His performances have been exceptional this season. Let's not forget that. Don't get it twisted. His performances have been amazing. You get me? For me, there's a strong case to say that he has been our player of the season. But if you were to push me, I'll say Odegaard has just edged it over Saka. In the end, for me, I would say player of the season in terms of the Premier League is pretty obviously Haaland, but there was a time where for me it was Saka, and that was probably up until February, March times. However, Haaland's goal return can't be sniffed at. He's had an exceptional, crazy season. It'll be interesting to see if he can replicate it next season. But so for me, Haaland, definitely player of the season. Probably, player of the season and young player of the season. But I would say the top 3 would be Haaland, Odegaard, and Saka for me. And for the young player, Yeah, I'd give it to Haaland as well, but I would say Saka would be the runner-up for that for me as well. So yeah, it's really good to have tied him up to a 4-year deal, and that's definitely lifted my spirits. I'm really happy by it. So I've already said that yeah, 290,000, if it is that, or if that's based on performances, might sound a lot, but then if you now caveat with the fact that he has been underpaid for the last 2-3 seasons. Player of the season, retained it. The only player since Thierry Henry to have run it back to back. So that tells you all you need to know, that this player has been performing at an exceptionally high level for an exceptionally long amount of time. So therefore, you're literally paying him what he has missed out on, and you trust this player to keep performing. Because now, like I mentioned in the previous podcast, his performances have commanded this trust from the club. So now, with great power brings great responsibility. So now it's down to you to continue to perform, and the pressure does rise. But I do believe and I trust that you are able to deal with the pressure, to keep improving, and to remain humble, and to keep helping the club to get back to where it belongs, which is winning major honours, and obviously back in the Champions League and